Good morning. I don't go to the City of Sydney very often. When I do, I tended to go by train, getting a bus from here to Westmead Station, getting on the train and joining with the hundreds of others who are making the journey into the city. When I'm at the station, the platform at Westmead, there are people coming and going. People in hospital attire garb who have finished shifts and going home, and some coming and going to start their day's work. Others on the train look like they're dressed for the office, for business, for retail, for all sorts of jobs, heading off on another day's work. I remember last time I was on the train making this trip, there were people all around me. Some had headphones on or the little earpieces, watching screens, movies, or listening to podcasts or music. Some were playing games. Some were just sitting and reading off their screens. A few had a newspaper or a book. I watched the faces. Some were in small groups of 2 or 3 chatting together. And there was the odd person who was on the phone, and we could hear the too loud, one-sided conversation. But by and large, as I looked at the faces of those on the train, it was another day in the life, business as usual. There were, to look at the faces, no high expectations. Some were bored, some were smiling. A mixture of people going about the day. It reminded me of the song in that classic album by Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon. An album that speaks of issues of life, mental health issues, breathing and living, of the meaninglessness of money and the pursuit thereof. But there's a song called Time, and it says, ticking away the moments that make up a dull day, fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You're young and life is long and there is time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. And it goes on, and the song finishes, I thought I had something more to say. The moments that tick along in a life, the moments of chronology, of second and minute after minute, and day after day, and week after week, and month after month, year after year, rolling around like Harry Chapin's song, all my life's a circle, sunrise to sundown. The evenings roll around again and morning comes around. And it's this kind of chronological experience of life that most of us are caught up in. Ordinary time, business as usual. But in the midst of business as usual, in the midst of the moments of our lives, there are the in-breaking moments, moments that change everything, apocalyptic moments. It could be the phone call that brings tragic news. It can be the news story that shocks us. It can be waking up and looking out the window and seeing a sunrise that takes our breath away, literally. It can be holding the newborn baby or the experience of childbirth. It can be many things that break into the tedium of chronological time and fill it with something else. Something that's alive and vital. In the midst of the joy or the pain, the suffering or the hope or the life, there's a vitality. A kairos moment, as it's called, an in-breaking different moment. I often have moments when I'll sit down with a saxophone or guitar or the piano just to play for a few minutes and find half an hour or an hour has passed and I haven't noticed time. And in that moment, I'm alive and I'm in the moment, I'm living it. I'm enjoying it. I'm alive in that moment. I'm not thinking of what's to come next week or what happened last week or yesterday. I'm not processing the events of the past or planning or worrying or getting anxious about the future. I'm in this moment. And time seems to not exist anymore. It's those in-breaking moments that I think are special and change us and help us to be alive. I was walking along this morning on our walk with Nico. I don't know, pondering all sorts of stuff, what happened yesterday or last week, or thinking about what I've got to do today or tomorrow. And I felt the tug on the lead, and Nico ran back to something. And he just stood there sniffing, and licking and moving around and sniffing. And then he moved on to something else and sniffing. And as I watched, pulled out of my reflection, I realised he was alive in the moment. He was living into this moment now. For him, this daily walk is taking him into the world. And he needs to live into this moment, to sniff what's there, the new things, or to visit the old places, to see what's there. And for a time, I realised I'd been missing the beauty and wonder all around me. The jacarandas that were filling the landscape, the beautiful mauve against the blue sky, the sun that was shining beautifully in the clouds, the song of birds, sometimes solos and sometimes choruses, sometimes call and response, the beauty of the parrots flying past, the gum trees, beautiful, standing tall, the flowers in the gardens, the spring flowers, one garden full of roses, all different colours and sizes and shapes. All this was around me, the beauty and the wonder, the presence of divine, of love, the sacred holiness of God in this moment now, and I'd been missing it. And so for the rest of the walk, I looked and I watched and I lived. And my senses felt alive at the sounds, at the sights, at the feel of trees and flowers and the beauty. This week, as Matthew's story rolls on towards that pivotal, deeply apocalyptic moment of Jesus' death on the cross, of crucifixion and what it all means and how it changes everything in the story. And then rolls on to this transformative experience of resurrection. As he moves towards this, there's a chapter 24, which talks about time and the in-breaking apocalyptic moments and being prepared and ready. And he tells a story in the next chapter, a story of 10 bridesmaids. And they're waiting for the bridegroom. The tradition was they would wait for the bridegroom, who would come and gather the bridesmaids, and together they'd go and collect the bride and go to the wedding and the wedding feast. But it's ordinary time, chronos time in the Greek, and it's business as usual, and they're waiting, and things happen, and time rolls on, and he's delayed, and it's the ordinary stuff of life. And they drop off to sleep, waiting. Then finally the word comes, the bridegroom is on his way. Be prepared, ready. And they wake up and they trim their lamps that have been burning, the oil lamps, and 5 realise they don't have enough oil. It's running out. The other 5 have brought extra oil and filling their lamps. And the 5 say, can we have some of yours? Sorry, there's not enough for us and you. Run off quickly to the marketplace or to the place where oil can be bought, to those who sell oil. It's the normal stuff of life, engaging in the normal stuff of life, the business as usual. Go and buy and sell and trade and replenish your oil. And so they engage in the normal things of life. And whilst they're gone, the moment comes. This in-breaking apocalyptic moment. This moment they've been waiting for, but not prepared for. The bridegroom arrives. And those that are there go with him. And they enter into the moment that is now. And the other 5 are off somewhere else. And when they come back, the moment is gone. It's passed them by. And they can't enter into the moment. It's no longer there. They've missed it. And Jesus is saying, be prepared. Be prepared for the inbreaking of wonder, of life. Live into this moment now, because it's filled with all the stuff of life, the beauty and the wonder. The beauty and the wonder that comes to us from God. This is the moment. And God is present. The divine, the sacred, the holy is all around us. As I discovered on our walk this morning, the beauty of the flowers, of the jacaranda blossoms, gorgeous, life-giving, wonder, breathtaking. The gum blossoms, the flowers in the garden, the song of the birds, the playing of the dogs, the people, the stopping to chat with people along the way and listen to their story and be in that moment. This day will be filled with all sorts of moments. The temptation is to be caught up in business as usual. The chronological moments that fill up the dull day, as Pink Floyd say. But all around it are moments of beauty and life. And this is the one moment we're alive now. God breaks in beauty and wonder, in the little things and in the big things. Open your eyes, your hearts, your mind, your being, and experience this presence of life, of hope, of joy. In the midst of all that exists, God is here, and so is love. Amen.